Ready?
Ready to go.
Welcome everybody to the Be More Rugby Podcast, our very first episode with me, James, and
Jay Stokes.
And our very special guest,
Me, Trevor.
Trevor, aka
Smax.
Smith. So, kicking off, let's just have a warm-up with what we've been doing this week.
This week, last weekend I was up in Scotland for the big one. Bit of a difficult loss for everybody, which was quite hard. Felt very, very alone up in Scotland. And then just yesterday, had a good game here for the twos against Bournemouth, which was a good game. Unfortunately, we had our senior academy game cancelled because of the weather. So it's been a nice, relaxing Sunday, catching up on some Six Nations and nursing a sore head after yesterday's big win.
Good lad.
Should say thank you to Smax and Wimborne Rugby Football Club for letting us do our podcast here today. So thank you, Smax, for coming in and opening up for us.
No problem.
Have you had a fruitful week?
I've had a busy week. Cleaning up the clubhouse after you people made a mess of it last week.
Massive apologies.
And I've been watching the recording of some Mexicans at Murrayfield last week on the telly.
Yes,
Over and over again.
Over and over again. There were quite a few Mexicans around in the end. I think there was 9 of us in total, and the cameras started following us around a bit. You know, when we were there, and we were like, "Oh, are we going to get on TV?" And very luckily, myself and another member of our party, Jack Arnold, managed to get on national television, and my phone blew up, and I had about 100 people messaging me saying, "Just seen you on TV, just seen you on TV." Then going back into work, and the kids are all saying, "Oh yeah, we saw you on the weekend with a massive cigar in your mouth and a sombrero and stuff like that." I was like, "Oh yeah, great." It was a fake cigar.
But a real sombrero.
But a real sombrero,
Yes.
and a real poncho.
So has that gone on your social media?
No, definitely not. But that
Why not?
there has been some pictures of us dressed up as Mexicans that have gone all over social media. But you know, it's always better to not have too many people filming you and
I
watching that
saw the
stuff.
line-out practice.
Did you? I thought
I
that
saw
footage had died and had been deleted. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So, game was good yesterday. You were captain, second team.
Yeah. So captain the second team again. That's my third time this season now captaining, which was really, really nice, especially when emotions are very high against our nearest and dearest at Bournemouth. I think I wasn't involved in the week before, but it seemed to be a bit more of a more even game, and it was nice to come away with a bit of a controversial W.
There was no controversy there at all.
Just
you
a
scored
win.
More points, you get a win.
Win's a win.
That's how it is. More points wins.
And man of the match.
And yes, I did get man of the match as well.
You coughed that one out.
Which he was keeping very quiet about.
No, so it was on a personal note quite well to go well. First try of the season as well, and you know, to put your head against Bournemouth is a pretty big one, and I don't score very many, especially on the wing.
And the winning try.
The winning try, yeah. So yeah, must be a special occasion, but
It was.
must have been some pretty poor defending in the back line to be able to get me out there on the end.
Brilliant attack.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And less importantly today, the big England game. Did you watch it, Max?
I did.
Views?
A win is a win. There will be no French or Irish that will be shaken with fear.
No.
Nor the Welsh. That's my belief. But they'll do what they do. Keep Smithy on. Smithy man of the match today for England. Might have been a bit better than you yesterday, Jay.
Well, you
Not
know,
so sure.
very similar players.
I get that. But yeah, a win is a win. That's what we can do.
A bit of a run out for some youngsters today. Some new faces. I think that's probably bolstered the team a little bit for the future, just to give them that experience.
A
Anyway.
little 9, excellent.
Oh, Harry Randall. I can remember when he's only 2 years above me, and he played in the Prem Cup Sevens that they always play at the end of pre-season, start of the season sort of area. And this little tiny lad was ripping people apart. I was like, he is well decent. And then he went on at Gloucester, and then obviously went to Bristol, and it's quite a nice story. He's been told his whole life he's too small to play rugby, and now I personally think he's the best 9 in England at the moment. He's brilliant. Really, if you look at like players like Danny Care and Ben Youngs, they were always very chalk and cheese, as in Ben Young started and then Danny Care would come on. I think he's got a really good mix of both of them, and he tackles like a dream as well. People, they get mesmerised by how small he is, so they try and go for him, and then he snots them, and
he's a new
good.
kid on the block. He'll take over. Yeah. He'll be the
100%.
new 9.
I think him and Marcus Smith are the future of England, and it's good to see that there is that progression, because I feel recently, it's been very much Ford Farrell and Ben Youngs, and I think, when you've got those key positions, Eddie seems to have gone, actually, I've got it wrong for a bit. I'm going to open it up.
He's brought some very experienced players back into the squad as well that had kind of run, well, we all felt, and I think they felt had run their time, just to come and bolster, but...
Then, you look at Jamie George, who was left out of selection, and that's the best I've seen him play in a long time today.
Exactly.
2 tries today.
Two tries today.
Yeah. Why not a hat trick? Drop him, I say, drop him. But you got to stick with the old hands. Give the young ones the experience and the pat on the back. That's how it works. Courtney Laws, old man, possibly. He won't go to the next World Cup, probably. But he's there now.
Yeah. I think they're missing him at the moment with their. Tom Curry's great, but I think
quiet today.
Very quiet today, and he's been quiet every time he's been given the captain's armband. You look at somebody like Courtney Laws, he's really experienced and arguably plays better when he's got the captain armband on. I think there is significant leadership missing in that England team at the moment, but it'd be interesting to see when people like Courtney Laws come back. Joe Launchbury isn't far away, and when
and Farrell.
I think Farrell's done for the championship. I think he's been declared out. I don't know.
I hope so.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he could offer much. It's more interesting for me is, can they get a fit Manu Tuolangi to answer that massive hole at 12? Because Joe Marchand's great, but he's the same player as Slade. You're playing the same person at 12 and 13. They don't offer anything different. You can have a ball playing. You look at that centre pairing. You can have a ball playing 12, but then you've got to have a big 13, or you can do it the other way around. Have a ball playing 10. Then have your big 12 and then a ball playing 13. You can't have a ball player at 10, 12 and 13, so you've got no go forward, and you haven't exactly got.
Eddie likes 2 10s, doesn't he?
He does. He does.
So that's going to be Ford or Farrell.
But could you play? I mean, I know Ford played today at 12, but
for 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, but that's not enough to say that he is a 12 or he could play 12.
Be interesting anyway, the next few games.
Welsh next week, 2 weeks time. Welsh.
2 weeks time, yeah.
So getting back to our game, I think we kick off the first half then. And again, welcome Trevor Smax Smith.
Please just call me Smax.
We'll just call you Smax.
Who does call you Trevor?
She who must be obeyed.
Oh, okay.
When I'm in trouble.
Trevor.
Yeah, it is.
So do you want to just introduce yourself then, Smax, and
me
to our guests?
Yeah, we'll do. Trevor Smith. Everyone knows me as Smax. George Clooney lookalike. And I'm just always here doing everything. Just at the rugby club. That's me. Kind of, that's it.
Wimborne Rugby Club.
Yeah, the rugby club.
The rugby club. Yeah, you did.
Yes,
yeah.
you did. Yeah.
That's what I meant. The rugby club. There is others apparently. Other rugby clubs are available, but none as good as this, obviously. And that's about it with me.
Put that under there.
I just get in people's way here and do stuff.
I'd strongly disagree with that, Smax. But what are your roles within the club here? I know you've done many, but talk us through what you're doing right now.
Right now, vice chairman recently.
Yeah, congratulations on that one.
Yeah, massive congratulations.
That was a position we didn't have for years, and it's a crucial spot, but it's up now. I kind of keep the place a little bit clean, and run the shop. That's about it. Yeah, repairs here and there.
All the things that matter.
Well, the things that people don't see and don't think need to get done. Nobody knows or cares really who mops the floor, who cleans the loos, who changes the bulbs, who puts toilet rolls in the loos. And no one knows. It just gets done by this magic little fairy. and that's what I do.
Do you wear a fairy costume as you do those things, Max?
I do. I have a little wand and some magic dust that I sprinkle around, and I sprinkled some on you yesterday. That's why you played so well.
Well, yes. Can I have that every week? Is that all right?
No.
Ah,
No,
okay.
you can overdose on it.
I have never heard you referred to as little, but we'll move on from that one anyway.
Okay.
So.
Good. Good. Yes, you've not seen me in the showers.
What other roles have you done in the club?
I
Smax?
was, I am facilities manager or clubhouse manager, whatever you want to call it. And I was with the Colts for 15 years. Not as a sentence, as a manager of them. Very successful years, I think. Of which you played a part as well, Jay, didn't you?
I certainly did towards the end of your the ward. I think I was actually the last age group, was I not?
I think you were.
I think once you'd had me, you knew it wasn't going to get any better, so
Yeah, I got a little bit poorly then, didn't I?
you did.
Yeah.
You did.
And that signalled the end of it. But there we go. And it was time to move on.
Mm.
The problem was we were quite good with the little man, little Barry Maitland. We were quite good. And if you're quite good, people are afraid to step in. Because they figure that's not broke, let's not fix it. But you've got to move on.
So what was your success rate then as in the Colts?
Ooh.
Would you be able to put a number on it or a percentage on it?
Well, it wasn't my success rate, it was the Colts' success rate.
Oh yeah, but while you were a manager.
Okay, I would say there was every year we'd have won at least 2 trophies, I would think. Probably that, 3 or 4 some years. A national trophy in about the 4th or 5th year. Yeah, it was good and it was fun. I think everyone enjoyed it. Yeah, and tours was not to be mentioned here because we don't talk about that.
No, definitely not.
But they were fun, weren't they?
They certainly were.
Yes, they were.
They certainly were. Smax, what do you think was the key to your success with Barry over those 15 years?
I think we're different.
Okay.
He's short, I'm tall. That's not important. He's always on the negative, and I'm always on the positive. And it's not wrong to be negative. It worked. Yin and yang. It worked. Yeah, it just worked, I think. Barry's got all the skills. I claim to know nothing at all about rugby. I don't want to know nothing at all about rugby.
You see, I remember when I was 16 and I was coming up into the Colts, and I remember obviously I'd heard lots about you and how things were going to be different once you'd taken over. And I'd heard you'd actually had a few caps for England as a second row.
Yes, I did kind of stretch the realms of truth with a lot of the boys. Yeah.
And why would nobody, everybody would believe you? Why wouldn't they, Smax?
I would say, why would they?
Really? Okay. Were you, how, when it comes to rugby, what would you say within the actual game? Obviously, you're very experienced on the admin and management and people side. What about playing wise?
I played a few games at school, and that's it.
That's it. Wow.
Yep.
Reason for that?
Wasn't good at it. Didn't think so. Didn't want to do it. So didn't do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
And I kind of couldn't. I had a dodgy ticker, so I didn't do any sports, but except for rugby.
How did you get involved with the club?
Here, the club, good lad. Our eldest Curly was just coming into Colts, and Stuart Newman was the 16's lead coach. And I'd just come off like driving trucks up the road all week, and he said, "Smax, you're not driving now. Do you want to do a bit of management with the Colts?" Yes, please, Stuart. And 15 years later, I tunnelled under the fence and got out.
There you go.
And I got free. Yes.
Do you miss it?
Do I miss it? Ooh. Do I miss it? I probably do. But I'm pleased I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it had its time. And you can't stick with the old ways.
What do you mean can't stick with the old ways?
Because you can't stick with the old ways. If we stuck with the old ways, we wouldn't be driving electric cars.
Okay.
Progress. You've got to keep up with the times. Old school doesn't work. We don't have leather boots with laces in. With leather balls with laces in. Things move on.
What would you say to the people that feel that actually since you and Barry have stopped doing what you did, that it's taken a backward step?
I don't think it has taken a backward step.
No.
No, I don't. I think possibly it wasn't instantly good when Barry and myself. I was there a year before Barry. It wasn't instantly good as soon as Barry and myself got together. You've got to work at it, and if people aren't prepared, I think it goes across all age groups that there's in many clubs that coaches and managers think it's about them, and I had the smallest ego ever. It was smaller than Barry, and he is small. But it wasn't about us. It wasn't about us at all. And we didn't look for winning. I'm sure you can remember Barry said, "I don't care about the result today. If you put in the best performance, you will find success. You may lose to a team that's better than you, and that goes on to after school, after work, like after rugby. You've just got to put in your best performance, and that's all anyone can ask for."
So what were your skills then you brought to the club when you came to the club, we'll call it, and started as manager of the Colts with Barry? What did you? I know you say he was always negative and you were always positive. You were both very different, one tall, one short, etc. But
well, he wasn't always positive. He wasn't always negative. Sorry, he had a bit of a negative attitude, didn't he? And Jay would back that up. Barry was old school, coaching like from years ago. Would you agree? Yep. I didn't know if it was old school then because I hadn't seen any coaching.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was my skills? Or I kind of think the young ones, 17s, 18s of that time, or 16s, 17s, because they're under 17, under 18. There was a lot of them that kind of wanted or needed a bit of a dad figure, and it got worse for the next 5 or 6 years, and then it got better, and now it's gone worse again. Things come around, go around. What was my skills? I kind of talked to him. I kind of had and I would hope that all of them could talk to me about things that he couldn't talk to their mum and dad about, or mum or dad, or whatever it is, or both dads or both mums. And that was my bit. I was kind of I don't know, I was their surrogate dad, maybe. I think that's probably, would that be a good thing?
Yeah. 100. I mean, I grew up in a awesome household, but fatherless. You know, didn't have a sort of male figure. You know, I've always been the man of the house, so to speak.
What a man!
But that's a shame. That's a shame for a young age to feel you have to be the man of the house.
But then I feel the reason why I got on so well with you, Smax, and bought so heavily into the club environment was purely because of how well you built relationships with not just me, but every single person that was in that squad. And I think the reason why I coach and, you know, manage the way I do now is probably due to the environment that I was developed in, which is the environment that you and Barry created.
And you have to have it. If Barry was here, we would have to accept that, what you just said. But if you haven't got it in you, then you won't do it. And there were, as you know, many other guys who went through it, through the Colts, just from your age group. But they are not as successful as a player and a manager and a coach as you are. So if you haven't got it in you, it can't come out. But if we played a part in that, well, good. Well done us, I say.
Yeah, definitely.
So my youngest, both my sons do psychology. They talk about nurture and nature. Is that what you're talking about? That actually there's more nature involved?
No.
Perhaps in nurture?
No,
or?
I think it's a 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you're born to do anything, and I don't think you're born to not do anything. I think everybody can achieve whatever they want to achieve.
Do you think you see it in? Did you see it in Jay? Did you see the?
I never saw nothing in Jay. I think he's a terrible player, an even worse coach. Did I see it in Jay? No, I didn't. But I didn't see it in any of them. I just wanted to push all of them, every single one of them, as far as I could, for them. And there's a limit to, in my view, there's a limit to how far most people will want to push it. Could we've had more people go on like James Williams and Harry Baz? Probably. But if they didn't want it, or if they didn't have the right links, or their parents weren't in touch with the right people that could have got them that far, then they won't make it. But yeah, I just push everyone as far as they can.
Why?
Why do I push them as far as they can?
Yeah.
So they achieve for their own good.
But what do you get from it?
I see them blossom. I get nothing. I didn't want to get nothing. The fun is to see them blossom. And the fun is now sitting back. I was a couple of years back out here, and we had a first team out here, and I think there was one of them that hadn't come up through the coats. That was a big day for me personally. Yeah, one of them hadn't come up through the coats, and that was, I think, Degs.
Yeah.
Everybody else had come up through the coats at the club, which is good for the club. You know, homebred is excellent because you don't pay them. They have the passion for the place. They have the commitment and the desire. And with that, with passion, commitment, desire, put in a few skills, and you've got a team.
Would you see that as more fulfilling than a club that perhaps buys in players and
Without
pays
a
them?
doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. 100%. We're a grassroots club. If we don't provide our own, then we're no club. I see it as black and white as that, because we can't afford to buy them. So, because I take all the money, so naturally. Yes.
Well, as you would.
Yes,
I have seen the price of the coffee. I must admit, it's a bit.
But it is good coffee.
It is good coffee. Yeah,
At
very
the
good
club.
coffee.
Yeah.
So where did you go then? You say you finished truck driving.
Where did I? What work-wise?
Did you just was that retirement?
No. I was driving like long distance, and our eldest, he was like 15, 16, and he was being put in a position. He took on the role of being the man of the house, and that's not right. I didn't think it was right, so I just finished my job. Didn't have a job, found a job, and then Curly can be a boy because he was still a child, and you shouldn't have to be the man of the house when you're still a child. I don't think. And I went back to my assumed role of being in charge. As long as wifey's not there and the boys and the cats, I was the boss then. And that's how it is now. Yes. So that was it. So I just come off long distance and become local truck driver.
Just so you could be close to family.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fair play.
Took a hit in the pocket, but there you go. Things don't matter like that, do they? I don't think.
No.
I'm very much a believer, as
Yeah.
you've said, that young boys, girls, they should have that opportunity to be kids.
Yeah.
All right, up until responsibility starts kicking in.
Which is about 96 years old, in my opinion. Yeah. Be as childish as long as you can. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
what
with
I
that
say.
one.
Yeah.
Definitely. Smack, when we want to take you back to that first, if you can remember that far back, when you first met Barry, what were your initial first impressions, and how did you become the friends and the awesome, successful colleagues you've been?
Ooh. First meeting with little man would have been probably here on a Tuesday, or maybe before a pre-season chat. I kind of informed him and a few coaches how it had run last year, and I was learning the game for the first season, and then I kind of told him how I saw it running in the future, and we had ideas, exchanged ideas, and come up with a successful way of running it, and we stuck with it. So that was my first dinners with the wee man, and yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good lad. Yeah. Top dollar in my book.
Yeah. So, if somebody came to you, and I know that other clubs have approached both of you as a pair, if you had somebody brand new who was setting up brand new rugby club, and they came to you as a culture expert, as a people and a relationship expert, what advice would you give to a brand new manager / coach?
Good question. What advice? I would say, give it a go for yourself. Find a way of doing it for yourself. If you need advice, ask questions. If I know the answer, I'll tell you. And I wouldn't tell him anything that wasn't the truth from my point of view. I wouldn't lie to anyone. It's, if you have a question, ask me. If I know the answer, I'll tell it. But I wouldn't do it for him. I kind of think you need to learn for yourself on the job, as it were. And it's not tricky. Once you set it up, it kind of runs itself.
And how do you say that you set it up in a way to run itself?
How do you set it up? By, for me, the being approachable from all of the players, boys and girls, as it is now at ages. If you're approachable and you listen and you kind of coerce them into doing it the right way, or what you see as being the right way, and let the coaches coach. I never wanted to coach. I never want to coach. It's just not something I want to do. Coaches coach, and I used to do the rest of it. I think that's pretty much about it. I could tell them everything, like bottles, shirts, bibs, bowls, get everything sorted, and just let the coaches coach. Don't step on their toes. That's how I immediately took on as the right thing to do. And I think if you look back at the success, that was probably the right thing to do. Could we have done better as a bunch of players? No, I don't think we could at any year at all. Could we have done better as coaches? Possibly. Or managers? Possibly. But players couldn't have done any better. And I think that's because, and you'll know because you played, that you would give everything. And I'm sure they do now. But I kind of think that they did give everything. Just everything. For the club. And it was good fun. And all the players enjoyed it. Yeah.
So where did your love of rugby come?
I didn't really have a love for it at all. I clearly liked it because he liked the fights. There was also a rugby match going on, and that got in the way of the fighting in his book. But it did. He was second row, and he liked the fights. When you could have fights, it was okay. And it was just schools rugby. Fisticuffs was fine, and that's what you done it for. Yeah. And so he came to the club, and with Stuart Newman's bunch. I guess my admiration for the game came from Stuart Newman. He was in 4 years, 12s, 13s, 14s, 15s, and 16s, 5 years, or whatever it was. He only lost one game to a Dorset club in 4 years.
Wow.
What?
That's mental.
Yeah, it's insane. And it was the first game against Dorchester. Under 13, so it was 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s, and they lost one game in 4 years to a Dorset club.
That's mental.
It's insane. It's insane. But that was my admiration for it, for the game. And Curly was involved in the last 3 years of that. But yeah, so I kind of and Curly would come out there as an angry teenager, have a few fights, and come home as a proper lad, good lad, calm, and yeah, it worked. And then Tyler come on the scene. Tyler had a different game. Didn't like the fisticuffs, but he liked the cheek that went with it. He would have been a horrible player to have played against, in my opinion.
Talking all the time. So they're the team, or
Gobby, Gobby, which is kind of good when you're a 9, but he wasn't a 9. He was a. Both the boys weren't not really good at the game, but they enjoyed it, and that's fine. I don't care if you think you're really poor at it. If you enjoy it, then play it. I say, yeah. If you're really good, someone's going to pick you up a better club further up the ladder. But yeah, so the question was, where did my
love for the game?
Yeah, it came from watching Stuart's boys, or Curly, to be fair, our eldest, and I thought, yeah, it's going to be good. I'm certain, 100% certain, that the same values that are in rugby are in other sports, but I don't know that. But I do know they are in rugby. A little bit different maybe with kiss ball, because you don't have the respect of the referee. I think that's across the board. But yeah, so my real love for the game came from watching our eldest son play the game.
So there's a series I just started watching on Amazon, which is the story of rugby,
Mm-hmm.
and it talks about how it progressed into the game we've got today,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of it's all about the young lads with too much aggression, too much time on their hands, too much energy, coming together and focusing on something, spending some energy on something, and coming away feeling like they've done something valuable or useful or energetic, and being a bit more relaxed afterwards, if you like.
Yeah, I think there are a fair few guys here who would have been in prison if they hadn't got into rugby here or somewhere else, and it gets rid of their aggression, and it taught them that everyone's not against them. You can have teammates, and the opposition are against you for like 80 minutes, and then it's done with. You know, it got a lot of anger out of a lot of people. I think that was a good thing. That was something that I got from the game. Personally, I think maybe Barry myself and other coaches like Gwynner, to name, there's loads of them. We all had a hand in putting probably 10 or 12 guys back on the straight and narrow, and that's a good thing. You know, when they're 15, 16 and they're going a bit wayward, shall we say. Yeah, they're becoming scallywags. Yeah. But yeah, put them straight and narrow and keep them out of nick.
So what were you like when you were younger
I was
then?
gorgeous. I was the best child ever. Jeez, yeah.
I should have just written that answer
Yeah,
down, shouldn't I? I should have known that one was coming.
When I was born, I wasn't named. They called me Son of God. I kid you not. So yeah, and then I just got better and better and better. That's about probably not the truth, really. What was it like as a child? I was don't know. I was a child at the time. I was not a healthy chap. That was it. I just not healthy, but
Healthy as in just
I had a dodgy
didn't
ticker.
exercise?
Dodgy ticker.
Okay, from a very young age.
From when I was 7, maybe 6 or 7, I was a naughty lad at school. Had to sit next to a girl. Can't name her name because I just saw her just recently on Facebook. And I did. I hadn't seen her since school. And if you was a bad lad, you had to sit next to a girl. Boys don't like sitting next to girls when they're 6. So I had to sit next to her, and she had scarlet fever, and but it didn't come out in her, but it did in me. Left me with a dodgy eyes, and a year off school where all my skin fell off.
Wow.
It was lovely. Yeah.
At 6 years old.
I was 6 or 7.
Yeah.
8 maybe, I don't know. Can't remember. I was too young at the time. Yeah, and the lovely teachers sent all the homework home. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I love the teachers when they do that. Yeah, year off school and I had to work at home. But there you go. Get through it, don't you?
So obviously your ticker is still dodgy today. It's not recovered fully, or
I had checks 7, 14, 21 and 28, which is this year. I'm 28 years old this year.
Oh.
Yep.
You look like you got a dodgy ticker on.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. So, and at 28, I was passed 100% for fit.
Oh, really?
Sorry, fat. Sorry. Spelling error. Yes, I was told yes. When I was 28, I was, don't worry about your heart anymore. And I wasn't worried about it before. If it's going to stop, it's going to stop. And the thing is, I was told I wouldn't get a stitch or nothing, my heart would stop, which is kind of not really good. So I didn't do any athletics or anything, any physical stuff at school. Bit of rugby, which I don't quite know how I managed to do that. But and there was a guy called Gibson who was the PE teacher. I used to beat him at badminton. But there you go. And the rest of it, I don't understand athletics. You run around in circles. Just wait here. They're going to come back, and I didn't get it. But there you go. And that's about my sort of childhood in a nutshell.
So did you push your boys to play sports?
No,
not
at all. I didn't push them to do anything.
No.
Nope, not a thing. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you want to do it, I will support them as far as they can go, whatever they want to do. And I think that's how it should be done. Or you push them, they don't enjoy it. When you're young, you've got to enjoy it. That's my philosophy. Right or wrong, but that's it.
Sounds like a good philosophy.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Well, that's
encouraging me what they want to do.
Absolutely right. Whatever they want. Do some dads live out their childhood through their children. I suspect some do. And it's wrong in my book. But there you go. Every dad does what is best. And it's
Tough job as well.
it's a gig that, yeah, it is a tough gig. But there you go. We all do it. If you're lucky enough, I guess. Some don't. But yeah. And I'm chuffed to bits with my boys. Hashtag proud dad moment. Yeah.
How old are they now?
Well, weirdly,
Bearing in mind you're 28.
yeah, they're both older than me. I don't quite know how that works out. Yeah. 32 and 28. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. There you go.
Do you, going back to when you were managing Curly now, something that, and it's Curly and Tyler, and something that I haven't been coaching very long, but certainly I've seen a lot, is people who are involved in sport that their kids are involved in as well. Children either go one or two ways. They either go really, really hard on them or really, really easy on them. I'm still yet to see what I believe the perfect balance in a coach and a coach manager and a player. Do you feel like you achieved that? Did you treat your boys any differently to the others, or did you let somebody else deal with them?
I didn't treat them any differently.
Okay.
No. Encourage them when they get down, like a mistake on the pitch. You don't have to tell them that they made a mistake, because they know it. And praise them when they do something good. Help them get through bad defeats, because you don't know it when you're young, and it is just a game. And teach them not to be over excited about good wins because someone else has lost. If you've got a very successful, 60 odd nil, you should have some compassion for the guys you just mullered 60 odd nil. In my book. Yeah, but that's just me.
I respect that philosophy. Have you ever had a situation with a player that you felt, actually there's nothing I can do to help you? You are affecting everybody else.
No.
You're a lost cause.
No.
Never had that.
No. There's always something you can do to help every child, every guy, every man, every woman. There's always something you can do to help.
Is there any you've ever thought that you've got it wrong, that you feel like you should have done it differently, or
hindsight? Hindsight. I think everyone makes mistakes, and that's how you get better. Would I have done anything differently? Probably not, because you learn from your mistakes, and if you don't make mistakes, you don't get better. That's my view. Yeah, but everyone deserves help in my book.
Is there any ones that you particularly keep in touch with today that you think that you helped because they
I tried
were
to drop a few, like Jay, but I can't.
Can't
I
get
keep
away
in touch
from
with, in particular.
Some maybe that's on your mind more than others. I don't.
Probably not. I'll see them all, and I'll like our President's Chairman's game. I'll send out a Facebook request for that game to about 500 of them that are all still friends on Facebook, and they've spread worldwide, from a doctor on the Gold Coast in Australia to a couple of brothers that are in Canada. They're just everywhere. They're just all over the world, and it's the global takeover of the world from the club.
From the club.
There you go. Yeah, I wouldn't put anyone above anyone else. No.
My question wasn't to who do you see with more esteem, but who in particular would there be you'd think I must touch base with them just to see how they're getting on?
I don't. No, is the short answer. No, I don't. No, they come up in conversation, and I'll kind of think of him. I wonder how he's doing. But no, I don't. You know, I see them on Facebook, and I see that whoever's got 2 kids now, or children, because they're not baby goats. But no, can't say as I do keep tabs on 1 or 2. I think that's the wrong thing to do. Yeah, they're all men now, making their own way in life. They don't need an old duffer like me, do they?
Well, I don't know.
They're doing good. They're all doing good.
That's good.
Yeah, they're all doing good. Yeah.
Smax, when we talk about the club, where do you see the future of this club and your role to play in it?
The future of this club.
The club, sorry.
Yeah, the club. Here for a few years, and then the new place. And my roles in it, I don't know. Time will tell what that is. I don't know.
Can you talk? I mean, for people who, I think we'll get mainly at the start, people who are involved in Wimborne, then across the county. Could you talk about the new sports facility that we're going to?
Yeah, it's I would think optimistically 4 or 5 years, realistically 5 or 6 years, maybe 7. It'll be twice the size of this club base. If you've ever been to the club, 2.5 grass pitches, a 3G pitch, a football pitch, and 300 car park spaces. And it's going to be a superb place. Just down the road at Court Jack Park. Everyone's welcome. Sign up to play for the club. Put on a black shirt and enjoy. And that's about, that'll take maybe, I reckon about 6 years, maybe 7.
Why that long?
Because there's agreements and limits, and there's timescales. It's the council involved. Sorry. And it takes time.
What do you see it bringing to the community, though? I mean, obviously, the club, it's got adequate facilities for a small grassroots rugby club.
It hasn't.
Oh, do you not think?
No, I don't think it has here.
Okay.
2 pitches that are overworked, always in a constant state of disrepair. Clubhouse that is sticking together by the power of gaffer tape. I think it's just a bit too. We've outgrown the place, and we did 10, 12 years ago. And it's taken the council and us, I guess, years of discussion to move to a new place. We're just bigger than this place now. And
the club's bigger than
Wimborne
Rugby Club?
Yeah, without a doubt. 100%. Has been for years. For years and years and years. And we moved to a new place. Wonderful. And it will improve the life of the residents living around here, because Saturdays and Sundays for big games, there's places where an ambulance can't get round a corner, which is not good.
No.
Go to a nice new premises, happy days. Everyone's happy here, and the council can do what they want here. They'll have plans and hope that they will do what they want, but we won't be here.
So what does it bring to the community then, the new facilities? Sports facilities, obviously.
Multiple sports facilities. Yep. Football, rugby, and many other things are planned that I don't know about, because I'm not up the ladder far enough.
What do you see, though? What would your hopes be for, obviously, a new sports facility with Wimborne Rugby Football Club's name above the door?
I don't think it'll be that.
I
don't think it'll be that. No. It's going to be a mixed sports facility with the rugby club has been offered first refusal to run the club, but it won't be a rugby club. There you go. Controversial. That's silenced them both.
So what does it mean to Wimborne then? Wimborne Rugby Club, the club.
It means a new club. It means a new club with a 3G pitch, hopefully, and facilities that we can build on and grow into. Because we are limited here. We have 2 pitches, and like I said, they're just overworked. 30 car park spaces to 300. That's more. It's bigger, and it's bigger premises. We can improve. More teams, more people are going to want to go there. If you're a parent with a loads of new houses in Wimborne. If you're a parent with a couple of children, would you let them come to here, which is in reality an old air raid shower that's been expanded again and again and again, or a brand new sports facility? If you've got an option, flick a coin, here or somewhere, Swans, Bournemouth, wherever, you're going to pick possibly not here. A brand new sports facility, someone near Bournemouth or Swans or Oaks is going to think, let's go to the brand new sports facility. Let's see what it's like.
So, might be controversial, but obviously in the area of Bournemouth, we're the club. Bournemouth are not far down the road, but they've got no real facilities of their own because the university's taken them over.
Absolutely.
How do you see that playing out with Wimborne taking on new sports facilities that are big enough for them to grow into and expand? Do you see that being detrimental to other clubs in the area, or
not
a positive thing?
Not other clubs. Personally, I fear for Bournemouth Rugby Club. Like you said, they have not got their own facility. They rent the place off the uni, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I've heard rumours. Yeah, but they'll do their best to stay there or move on, I guess. They want a sugar daddy that could buy them a nice new premises, whereas it's kind of getting built for us. Yeah, thank you very much.
I am very much, and I know there are a few that aren't, but I am very much pro move. Very, very much. My only concern is nothing to do with the actual sport itself. It's in here. It's in the Harrison room.
It's the feeling.
It's the history that's gone here. I've been to many, many clubs up and down the country that are these sports facilities, and it is not a nice environment. There's no rugby stuff up on the wall. There's no social. There's no environment.
What would you call it? Sterile?
Yeah, 100%. A really heartless. You know, like when you go into a new build house and you can just tell there's no memories that have been created in there. There's nothing that's happened. That is my only concern, that we will lose this.
So I suspect that when we moved in here, before this house was here, and before the stairs were even on, I would suspect there was no rugby goodies in here. This building will become history, just like the previous building, which is now Waitrose. That was history. That became history. You move on and you start a new vibe, a new feeling, a new history at your new premises, or you stay here and we go under because it's just too small. You know, the options are move to that new one, or we're in a sticky position here.
So do you see this more if, say it takes 6 years' time, the new facilities are built, Wimborne Rugby Football Club moves in as the facilities club, if you like, the one that is
that
home,
run the place.
That's home, it runs.
The lead tenant almost.
Do you see then that there's more importance to try and bring on the young blood that's been in the youth, mini and youth of Wimborne up to the new facilities in order for them to create their new memories and their new let's call it feeling or vibe of the club?
As in new ones bring...
As in the youngsters here today, is there more importance on them coming up to the new facilities?
Think so. No, I think as seniors, this club is all of it, from under or 5-year-old, under 6 to the old Duff was playing in the third team. It wasn't so long ago that we had 5 teams here, and this year we've had to drop our third team because of COVID. That hasn't helped. Move to new premises, it's going to be such a vibe about the place, so much more excitement, which will build and build and build as the years go by, and then we move in, and it's just going to be fantastic. Everyone will have to buy into it. You're always going to get a few people that, I miss the old place. Well, okay, but it is the old place now. This is the new place. Did you miss your first car, which might have been 30 years ago? Have you still got that car?
No, I think mine ended up in a ditch. But
there you go. There you go.
Mine went in a crush.
There you go. So you're not emotional about that. Your first girlfriend or whatever, your first house. Things move on, and we just have to go with it, or you go under. In my book, there you go.
So it's better than going under, obviously.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
So the worry, Jay, to your concern, do you take the ambience that's here with you? Actually, it's move on or don't.
So you could argue it's the people that, yes, obviously it's brilliant here and the stuff up on the walls and everything is amazing, but it's the people that create that environment.
Absolutely.
And as long as those people that are creating the environment here come with us, I'm really hopeful that we can recreate, or maybe not recreate, because I don't think you can start afresh and maybe have an even better atmosphere there than it is here.
I think that's about it in a nutshell. You move on, and the people that don't want to move now, once they're there and there's a brand new facility around them, they're going to think, where did we used to be? Just remind me again.
As long as the coffee's as good.
The coffee will always be as good at the club. Yeah.
And the Guinness is always very good here as well.
Yeah.
Guinness is the same everywhere. I don't know why people say Guinness is better in different clubs.
I've been places where Guinness is bad.
I disagree. Going from here at the Guinness to the Wetherspoons in town, oh god, the standard was awful. Might as well just.
Not that there's anything wrong with Wetherspoons, by the way.
Well,
no.
He might be
Other
one of our
pubs are
sponsors.
available,
there are other
He
pubs
might be
available.
one of our sponsors. Wetherspoons on our shirt. What do you reckon?
JD Wetherspoons.
Yeah. Line up here, get you rubbish Guinness here. Yeah.
Definitely.
So where do you see you at the new facilities, Smax? Do you see you? Obviously, you've achieved now the lofty status of vice chairman.
I see myself in a wheelchair, push myself up to the line, saying, "Go on, Jay. Go on. Oh, I need the toilet." That'll be me. What do I see? I don't know. I don't know. I don't really. What will happen to me will happen to me, and I'll enjoy it no matter what. Where would I like to go? I'd like to still be as vice chairman for this season, and we'll see what happens next year.
Fair enough.
Watch this space.
I think we'll break for half time then, yeah?
Yeah.
Change ends.
Change ends, yeah. So, a few bits of news. We obviously have touched on the new facilities of the club, which is just up the road from Low Park. Any other news on your front, Jay? Any announcements? Anything going on?
Going to be a
Do you
dad?
want to make a news?
God no. Not yet. There's lots of stuff going on within the community. Really great to see a lot of senior fixtures being played yesterday. I think the right call was made in the end to cancel pretty much every senior academy or under 18s game today because it was minging. I went and watched a lad that I'm doing some work with at the moment play football this morning, and honestly, I could not have been colder if I tried. It was hailing, it was miserable, and it was awful. And I was thinking in my head, what a brilliant idea it was to whoever made that decision to not make me go and do this again this afternoon.
So I know that there's a Sandbanks beach clean on the 3rd of April, which the rugby club are trying to promote at the moment, get everybody down. 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock, is that correct, Smax?
Is that what it says on there?
That's what I'm looking at on there at the moment.
Then that'll be what it will be.
So if anybody's interested in going and helping out in the community, there's a nice little few hours on the beach.
Is it called 150 mile clean or something?
It's called the Sandbanks Beach
Okay.
Clean.
There you go.
There
Smax,
you go.
do you want to speak about the food bank?
Food bank. What about the food bank? So it's at the community centre, which is next to us at the club. Sharon Keenan is the manageress of it, and they give out food parcels to people who are forwarded to them as needing a food parcel. And the first weekend of every month, we have food bank collections here at the club to assist them. with all of their needs.
So if somebody wants to give to the food bank, they bring the food to...
Bring a tin of beans or a packet of dog biscuits or whatever you want, and drop it off at the club, in the shop or upstairs, and it will get to Sharon.
And when's the club open so that people can know when?
Saturdays, if there's a home game, from about 12:30ish, and Sundays from about 9:00ish. I'll be here probably.
So if anybody's got any spare food or wants to donate,
Or
bring
anything,
it to
anything,
the club.
toothbrushes, everything. It's a busy place.
And does that go to local people in need, local families in need?
Goes to the people that put forward to have it, families in need, or single people in need, or just anybody who's in need of food bank. And they do Christmas parcels, they do Easter egg things. There's 3 or 4 food banks in Wimborne, which not good, I think, for a country like us, but there's a need for it. So, and Sharon does a great job. They all do, all run by volunteers, and good on them, I say.
So if anybody else has got any of our listeners that have got any things that are local to them that want to promote during our podcasts, Jay and I will be listening out. If you'd like to either find us on social media, we're on Instagram, TikTok and Twitter as Be More Rugby, or at Be More Rugby. You can get in touch with us on there, or James at Be More Rugby is an email address, and we're going to try and set up some J at Be More Rugby .co.uk or .com. I better check that one out.
It'll be .co.uk
We'll put it,
or
yeah.
it'll be .com.
It will be one of those two.
One of those. But
I suppose I ought to check it.
Instagram's the best way to
I
get
thought
all
you
of us.
would know.
Yeah.
I should have done my homework on this one, Smax. I should have done. That's not good, is it? But
It is what it is. Hindsight again.
So
That's right. We can cut this bit out.
we can do something like that.
The power of the editing.
So James at BeMoreRugby.com
There you go.
Which
for the first instance.
Which was your first guess, wasn't it?
There you go.
Well done.
There you go. There you go.
Right, half-term announcements. If anybody's got any, get in touch with us.
Awesome.
Second half, we'll kick off. This is where we'd like to talk to you, Smax, as our extra special very first guest, probably the best guest we've had on the podcast,
So far.
about how rugby's helped you, how it's influenced you, how you feel it's been of a strength or maybe a disadvantage, I don't know, to you, yours, outside of the club, general day-to-day life.
How has it helped me? I guess other people would be better to answer that while I was a manager. Perhaps you would know if it helped me, Jay. I don't know. Has it helped me since I stopped being manager? Immensely. By getting ill, this club.
How would you like to? You touched on that earlier on about getting ill. Would you like to elaborate on that, or?
Yeah. I had a little bit of a issue with a bit of cancer in my throat. It was tricky times indeed. Got through that, and I had a stroke, and I had a bit of skin cancer and a bit of prostate this last year. And you can get really down. I'd like to think I'm a strong guy mentally, but it can get you down big time. But having something like this place that is kind of falling apart, and things to do, like the toilets, like the floor, like mopping, steam cleaning the concrete outside this week. Having stuff to do gives you something to do, gives you a reason to get up and get out of bed. It's easy when you're not feeling good to slip into wallowing in self-pity and thinking, God, that hurts. But this club, for me, has given me a reason to be. I don't think that's putting it too, whatever the word is. Yeah, it's given me a reason to be, and it's got me through, helped get me through, along with some expertise from the NHS and the odd chemo and the odd radio and support of wife. Yes.
Whoops.
Yes, don't tell my missus is about that one. Yeah, family, friends have done their bit, obviously, and I guess I've done my bit as well. But
You certainly have.
yeah, it was tough. It was tough. But there you go.
Smax,
Yes.
I'd like to talk about your award that you got.
Oh, one of my many, many awards.
Your
Oscars, was it?
A few of those. I've been called worse. Oscar being not one of them. Was this the... What was it called? It was the Bath one, wasn't it?
The Bath Community Award.
Bath
Community
Sport.
Spirit.
Yeah, Community Sports Award, I think it was called, or something, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah, that was a nomination that... It's an award that Bath do for kind of someone at grassroots level, I guess maybe unsung hero possibly, or something like that. I don't know how you would word it.
Unsung Heroes, I think, is a pretty good
Yeah.
description.
And they hold the award at the... I'm sure every club does it, but Bath was the one I was nominated for, and they present the award at their awards dinner with all the high-flying people from Bath were all there, and little old me got on stage and I got an award. Yeah, it was very good. It was very good. Yeah.
What did you get that award for, Smax?
Because I'm awesome in every which way, I guess. And obviously they heard about it. And what was it for? It was you get nominated for what you do at grassroots rugby, and I guess all that I've done, and someone nominated me, and a gentleman called Tom Evans, I think it was reading through about 1,300 emails, and a few others were reading through them, and then he read this email from someone that had written about this dude, and he said, "Everyone stop, I've got the winner here," and that was little old me. Yeah, and I took my award. Yeah, it's very nice.
Well deserved. Smax, you are one of the most modest people I've ever met. You know, you make the jokes about looking like George Clooney and being the best person ever.
Just because I do look like George Clooney. It's not a joke. I'm offended.
Yes. But the stuff you do here, I know you do a lot of the unseen work, but there are a lot of people that do see it, and there is no way that this place would still be standing if it wasn't for you.
Okay, thank you. I think it probably would. I think someone else would do it.
Not to the level and the dedication that you do.
And that's I kind of get that as well. A very wise gentleman once said to me, the problem with other things at this club is that no one actually cares, Smax. Or rather, he added, no one cares like you do. And if everyone cared, it'd be so much better. Not just here, but all over the world, in everything.
So, one of the philosophies that we've got with regards to life being rugby, or rugby being life, is that if you care enough to give your strength and all to the guy next to you, then they'll do the same for you, and all of a sudden you're a stronger unit, you're a team. And by the sounds of things, that's something that you've actually gone out of your way to do, is give your strength, your energy, your positivity to everyone here at the club, in order to try and, whether they're grassroots lads and girls playing rugby, or whether they're seniors, or whether they're other members of the management club, or even the ones, even the mop downstairs that you used to mop up. You just seem to give your all for others.
I try to, yeah. If that's good, then it's good. If people think it's bad, then it's bad.
Well, I think it's actually probably necessary for anybody that wants to succeed in life to give their strength to somebody else, because Nobody goes over the try line on their own.
No. Together we are stronger. All things like that. Loads of sayings spring to mind. I just try to keep. I care. Not just about the club or rugby I just care about everything, and I try to help everything and everybody with all of my being. There you go. I don't think that was over the top, but there you go. That's me. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Humble old me. Yeah.
Smax, where would you say the state of the game is in Dorset and Wilts at the moment? I know you're heavily involved, or used to be heavily involved in the fixture side of it, and spoke to a lot of people, and you have a lot of contacts. You know, every rugby club I go to say, "Oh yes, I know Smax," and you know you are thought very highly in multiple clubs in the immediate area, but then also a lot further afield as well. Where would you say, in your opinion, the state of rugby in Dorset and Wilts is at the moment, across all levels?
I think Dorset and Wilts, if you talk nationwide, is quite low, because we don't have a powerful club here, like an Exeter, like a whoever, Sarries, whatever, or the beloved London Irish. We are missing a big club. Luckily, we are Bournemouth, and luckily, if you want to test yourself at the best club in Dorset and Wilts, go to Bournemouth. They are the highest ranked team in Dorset and Wilts. People should go there and try it. We spoke earlier about lots of clubs don't like Bournemouth. I think that's wrong. I think they have a position, they have a place, and if you go to Bournemouth and you are successful, then a bigger club will hear about you, and then you can push yourself further on. The answer to the question, where do I think Dorset and Wilts are, we're pretty lowly down, because we are just a club with like no motorways, and there's nothing in Dorset and Wilts of a real quality club or rugby club that I know of. There are some good clubs, but not of like all of them, like whoever. I mean, the real quality clubs are not in Dorset and Wilts, and that's just how we are geographically, I guess.
So, obviously, if you're saying you want to try and get somewhere in rugby, you want to get to a high level, push yourself, go to the big clubs, etc., etc.
Without a doubt.
To the young lads and young girls that just want to go out and play sports, would you obviously encourage them to go out and play sports, but what would you say they would get from rugby if they're not looking to become a professional?
Oh, you get so much from rugby. I don't know what you get from other sports. I'm sure it's the same. You get the friendships, the camaraderie, you get the winning, you get the losing, you get the training, you get the fitness, you get it just goes on and on and on.
We talk about winning and losing, because you did mention earlier on that when you were part of the Colts team, you tried to push them to play well rather than
performance.
So your words, I think, were you helped them through bad defeats and tried to stop them getting too excited with good wins. Why is that?
Because of that age, a bad defeat could turn you off the game, and that's a loss to the game and to yourself. And you talk to your mates, so it's a loss to many others. And I personally don't think you should, take the mick out of teams if you've just slaughtered them, in my opinion. What's the word? Is it magnanimous in defeat or whatever it is? Some of those, it's all them words mixed up.
Gracious in defeat.
That's the one. That's the one. I think you should be, you should enjoy success, but it's not the be all and end all, in my opinion.
So I read a phrase a long time ago. When we win, we celebrate. When we lose, we deliberate. And it was along the lines of sometimes a win, like you say, might be an easy win. You don't necessarily learn from it.
Nope. Absolutely.
Whereas when you lose, you can learn a lot about yourself,
Absolutely.
learn a lot about your teammates, learn a lot about the opposition, and get better for it.
An easy win, Jay would know this because we had a few at your age, didn't we?
Oh yes.
Big wins. So an easy win, let's say 60, 70 odd, 10. White line fever kicks in. There's no teamwork, there's no structure, goes out the window. All that you train for just is forgotten about because everybody can score a hat trick. And it's the same, whatever position you're playing, you fancy your chance to get some points that day. The opposition will learn more about themselves in a heavy defeat than you will about yourselves in a very successful win. And that's just how it is.
And is that something that you tried to help the lads in the Colts understand when you said about helping them not to get too excited with big win?
So I recall one occasion, I won't name the club or the players. We were six, I think it was here, and we were something like about 40 odd points up at half time, and then it became ugly in the second half. People were in the try zone and passing to their mate on the wing who hadn't got a point, hadn't scored yet, and letting him try. So that happened first time after about 5 minutes in the second half, and the manager or the coach at the time took that player off. That's not what you do. If you're in the try zone, you dot it down and you move on. I can't say it, but you shouldn't take the mick out of the opposition. And we had a referee, everyone will know him, but I won't say his name. We were something like about 47-0 up at half time. And we went into the group huddle, and they were talking about, at Colts level at that time, if the points difference was 50-0, and I think it still is the case, you offer an early stoppage to the losing
That's the case still.
coach. And we talked about it at half time, and they had a centre who was pretty good, but in a losing team, and he said, so you're not stopping the game now, are you, sir? And the referee said, no, but Wimborne will score a try, and it will become 52, and do you want to stop the game then? And this centre, who was on the wrong end of a 47-0 at half time, he said, no, we won't stop because we'll come back and we'll win this. And that says a lot to me about what rugby is. 47-0 down, you can come back and win this. 52-47, we will win this. And that's I don't think that actually answers your question, but that's a big moment that's stuck in my mind. Yeah.
So I've always thought that obviously we talk about respect in rugby. It's one of the biggest things, and yes, when you're winning and walking over an opposition, to not have the respect for the fact that they've come out and stood on the pitch opposite you is a bad way to be, no matter what sport you're in or what walk of life you're in. If someone's come up to be your opposition, even if they're a different class, you should always respect them.
Absolutely.
You see that England have played Italy today, but England still respect Italy.
Oh yeah.
Because
I think yesterday's under 20s insisted that, didn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Great result for it yesterday.
Yeah, fantastic.
Absolutely amazing. Nothing but good for the game. You know, I think when we speak about those sort of core values, and when I was playing under 16s here, and I won't name the referee or the club, we were playing against a Wiltshire team, and they didn't have enough players, and I was very new to rugby, hadn't played very often, and our coach decided to give some of the inexperienced players to the opposition, and I played obviously second row, and I was put on at fullback for this club, and Wimborne were winning heavily, and it did start to get a bit nasty, and I can remember awesome bloke who doesn't play rugby anymore, but made a brilliant break through, and I was playing fullback, and I just remember thinking, I'm just going to tackle him, and I did.
Good
I tackled him into touch, and about 10 minutes later, I'm playing with this other club, and we're defending on our try line, and the guy I used to play in the second row with ran at me, stepped me, and scored. And the Wimborne team and New Milton straight away, because it looked so bad, because he'd stepped me so well, it looked like I'd let him go through, that I'd just gone, let him score, and it erupted, properly erupted around me, and didn't matter how many times I said, I promise you I didn't let him go through. It was really interesting to see the teammates that were playing for Wimborne. Some of them were like, yeah, well done Jay for letting him through. Others were like, that's not part of the game. The club I was playing for was absolutely fuming, and the referee asked me outright, did I do it? And even then, when I said no, I promise you, he just stepped me. He mugged me off.
Yeah.
And that happens to me regularly on a Saturday.
I wasn't going to say that.
And we talk about those core values and stuff like that, and that is easily the worst experience I've ever had in rugby, because I could not bear the thought of anybody thinking that I would do anything like that, because that's not good for the game. That's not sportsmanship.
No. What's your best experience in rugby?
My best experience in rugby? Yesterday has to come pretty close.
Oh, I get that.
Yesterday has to come pretty close, but
Which bit of yesterday? Man of the match, winning, or scoring the winning try?
probably just the win.
Yeah,
Just the win.
Yeah, good lad.
But I'll tell you what it really is after. No, it is just the win. But my best memory in rugby will always be that tour to Le Havre.
Was it really?
I barely remember very much about the game, other than the splitting of the atom moment between me and their 8. But the
there was a game as well, wasn't there?
There was a game, but the memories, the environment you created on the bus, the fear of falling asleep,
excellent.
The really respectful stuff when we went to the cemeteries, and the bonding, the awesome stuff that went on that tour, that I will never forget for the rest of my life. And I made brothers on that tour.
Good lad.
And I that will always be my best memory. Nothing to do with playing, but will always be my best memory.
We had a guy one year, many moons ago, who signed on at registration day here for Colts, and said, "Smax, I've signed on. There's me a cheque from Mummy, but I'm not going to play, because we had a deal then that you could only go on tour if you're a paid up member." He signed on, knowing that he wasn't going to play, so he could go on
just for the tour.
Absolutely. They were a bit legendary, weren't they?
Oh, they were. They certainly were. I often the shirts that we have, I had 6 on the back of my shirt, and the nicknames that we'd originally put in never made it to printing. But
No, I don't quite know why.
No. But every time I take that shirt out and I look at it, and I've also got a pair of Le Havre shorts, because it's no surprise to anyone, my admin is absolutely shocking. And when we turned up at Le Havre's rugby club to play, I can remember going, "No, I've left my shorts back at the hotel." And they were amazing. They took me up to their wonderful club shop. Not as good as your club shop.
Clearly not.
Not as good, but was pretty amazing. Up these spiral staircases, and what size? What's that? And I was like, 34.
Triple X. Oh, sorry.
That's now, not then. And I've still got those shorts. I've still got all those awesome memories.
Lovely.
And not many pictures were taken for obvious reasons, but best memory of mine. I'd probably go best memories of my life, actually, not just within rugby.
That's what it gives you. That's what sport gives you, is the memories.
100%.
What's yours then, Smax?
I don't have much memory. I had a stroke. I got out of that one well.
Can't get out of that easy.
What's my best memory? I have 3 really good memories. One was the moment we both said "I do," and one little boy, and then another little boy, and the rest of them are good memories, but they're the 3.
So, talking about the one little boy, 2 little boys, what do you think, or what would you hope those 2 boys took from their days playing rugby into adulthood, parenthood,
So straight away, I could tell you straight. Well, sadly, none of my parents yet. What they're both taken is a bunch of friends who are still friends. That's success for me. That's it.
And what would you hope for any of the Minion youth coming through the club? What would you hope that they learned from their days playing rugby and moved on when they move on? What would you hope it's taught them, helped them?
I would think that most Minion youth age groups would wish I was still their manager, probably. What would they take on? I hope they all take on the idea that teamwork's good, helping each other, because that's what a team does. All the good things that we've previously spoken about, I hope they all take that on. I hope they don't take on, if they're asked in 5 years' time, what's your best memory? I hope that none of them say beating whoever in the final 16-0. I hope that no one says that, because that shouldn't be. They can enjoy winning the final, I get that, but if they go into the detail of a trouncing against someone when I scored 5 tries, I hope that no one takes that on board. Really do, because that won't help them throughout their life. That won't help them.
So teamwork,
Absolutely.
hard work,
And memories.
memories.
And friendships. There's guys here that are 700 years old, and they're still friends with guys that they used to play with 700 years ago, and that, like I said before, I'm sure every sport gives you that, but I do know that rugby gives you that. And they will talk about even opposition. They'll have friends here that were opposition back in the day when clothesline tackles were good, and you wouldn't go for the ball, you'd go for the other guy's face and try to break his nose, and that's what it was then. And they're still friends even now, and that's what matters in my book. Yeah. Not that I want Jay as a friend in years to come, obviously, but
Don't think you've got that choice now, Smax.
oh god, I will make the best of it, won't I? But there you go. That's what I think. I hope all upcoming rugby players throughout all rugby's time, I hope all they get from it is the teamwork and the friendship that comes with it. There you go. I get a bit deep here.
No, not at all.
No, perfect.
That's what I kind of hope. And that's what I said to the guy on at Bath. He asked me, what do you think rugby gives? And I think I said something like friendship. He said, from when? I'll tell you exactly what I said. I said friendship from sperm to grave. And he said, I've never had anyone say sperm on stage.
Well, we've never had someone say sperm on a podcast.
I said,
so there you go.
I said, well, there you go. You just said it. So that's twice. There you go. Yeah. And it was good. There you go.
Brilliant.
But that's what I hope people get from it.
So I know in my experience with my lad, and you know him well, the ability for him to be able to integrate with his peers and understand his position in a friendship is certainly what he's got.
Good.
And I know he's maybe
And
struggled.
he's coaching.
Everyone's different, and he's coaching.
And he's
Yes,
coaching,
and he's
which is
coaching.
even better. Share your skills.
100%.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I think that's a good time to stop, don't you?
100%.
Full time.
Brilliant.
I think that's full time. I think we'll have a bit of a cool down and just talk about perhaps what we're going to do on the next podcast. We're hoping to get some more very, very, obviously not as good. There'll never be another first guest on the podcast,
No.
but we're hoping to get some other very interesting people.
Do you guys want my autograph now?
I've already got it. Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks,
dear.
Smax.
He's got it tattooed on his.
No, I think it's been great for the first podcast. I think it's been awesome. You know, I think the lessons we can all take away is, rugby brings people together, gives people purpose, gives people friendship, gives people teamwork.
As do other sports.
Other sports are available, yes. Yes.
But not as good as this one.
100% with you.
Other clubs are available, but
Not as good as this one.
yes, spot on.
So hopefully we've got some more podcasts to come. We're trying to line up some guests at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Jay and I will work very hard at it. Smax, I'd like to say thank you ever so much. You've been delight, as always.
Oh, I guess I've been good.
Always lovely chatting with you, Smax. Thank you
And
very
yourself,
much.
young man. Thank you very much, James.
And thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you.